Hi, my name is Zach, and I used to be an alcoholic. I used to be a horrible alcoholic, and I have made my way through numerous rehabs and 12-step programs only to relapse. Sometimes I would last without drinking longer than others, but I would always relapse. Through a strange turn of events, though, somehow I was able to stop drinking. And now I'm just trying to retrace my steps in an attempt to help other people to get sober. I use the phrase strange turn of events because the way in which I quit was far from typical. Back when I was trying to quit drinking, Alcoholics Anonymous was the only resource out there that was trying to help people get sober. A big part of the AA strategy were these 12 steps. It was supposed to represent a roadmap to recovery. Follow these 12 steps and it would result in sobriety. Well, for one reason or another, many folks have a hard time following this program. I was one of those people. I myself had trouble with step one. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. That was step one. First of all, I'm nitpicky, and that one sentence has two different ideas in there. And while I was comfortable admitting that my life was unmanageable, I take issue with the word powerless. No one is ever powerless. Now, I'm not saying that nobody has ever been powerless. Certainly throughout history, there have been many cases where people didn't have any power, slavery and whatever. But in the context of everyday regular situations, nobody is powerless. Power is a very nuanced concept. Was I powerless to stop drinking immediately and never pick it up again? Yes, I was powerless to do that. But was I actually powerless? After all, here I sit, sober. I have prepared a demonstration to help illuminate my point. I am going to turn on this lamp. Excuse me, I seem to be having some difficulty. I must be powerless to turn on the lamp. Or perhaps that's just not how power works. It's actually quite easy when you do it right. Tackling a situation head on isn't always the best way to solve a problem. Sometimes the problem is far too large and difficult to be solved in a straightforward manner. But every problem has a solution, and sometimes finding it just takes a roundabout approach. If you lack the power to affect a situation directly, then look around and see what you do have power over. Think of a row of dominoes. The final domino is clear over there. You can't affect that one, far out of reach. But you can affect the one that's right in front of you. And by knocking down that first one, you set off a chain reaction that results in the final one being toppled. Fortunately, most problems have many solutions. Alcoholics Anonymous was a solution to a problem. AA promised to provide a way to stop drinking. But from what I understand, the desire to drink never leaves these people. It certainly never left me. The people who are successful in AA still crave alcohol. They are just exerting an enormous amount of willpower that allows them not to drink. I could never do that. I don't think that their solution is a very good one, like a band aid on a gaping wound, a temporary fix rather than an actual solution. The program of AA would have you believe that alcoholism is a disease. Now, I'm fully convinced that mine was a symptom rather than a disease. A symptom is just an indicator that something else is going on. My alcoholism was a symptom, and you can never cure a symptom. You can only treat it. Kind of like how AA doesn't really fix the problem, it just makes it a little better. It promises to help people quit drinking. I would argue that the act of drinking itself isn't the problem. Millions of people drink without becoming addicted. They drink and then they don't drink and they don't have an issue. The problem arises when people need to drink, when they can't not drink. That is the problem, and that is what I seem to have overcome. That is what I'm trying to investigate here, because I remember what that thirst felt like. I remember my chest getting tight and my thoughts racing, and all I could think about was just drinking. I can't help but think about that feeling from time to time, and it doesn't feel so foreign to me. I wonder sometimes if I was really addicted to the drugs and alcohol, or if it was in the escape that they provided. Perhaps the key to my recovery was in creating a life for myself that I didn't want to escape from. If I could identify a common thread that linked the various different aspects of my recovery, it would be control. I was taking control over various parts of my life that felt out of control, and being powerless just wasn't part of that equation. Food for thought. Until next time, hang in there.